Hey there Pokefans, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Matt, and before we get started, I do apologize if it sounds like I have low energy, and it's because I do. I'm currently getting over a sickness that I don't know what it is, but it's giving me terrible headaches, like a runny nose. I think it's like a sinus infection or whatever, but it's also like doing crap to my throat too, so it has not been fun. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into our Season 13 team and the team that we will most likely be using for our Portland Regional. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be using these 6 for the month. And that's going to be Tornadus, Chien-Pao, Urshifu, Golden Go, and Roaring Moon, and Ogerpon. If you guys want to know what their stats are, we're going to go ahead and get into that. So Tornadus, Chien-Pao, Urshifu, and Golden Go did not have any changes, so I'll go over their stats real fast so you kind of understand what's going on. So Tornadus has its generic 252 in attack, special attack, and speed to make it the fastest Pokemon on the field, using the Covert Cloak and Prankster ability so that I get access to Rain Dance, Taunt, and Tailwind within the first turn, depending on what my opponent tries to do. And then Bleakwind Storm to just attack after that. With 4 extra EVs and HP gives him like just 1 more HP, but a lot of the time he kind of gets knocked out. But he is still Terra Ghost, so that I can maybe withstand a little bit more attacks from Pokemon like Iron Hands, and I can absorb Fake Outs better, but with the Covert Cloak, I don't really have to worry about it. But he was used for like 2 seasons, so you kind of know what his deal is, so it is what it is there. With Chien-Pao, he's a new character. Well, although we did use him last season, his EVs are the same. We still have him with the 116 HP, 252 in attack, 80 defense, and 60 speed. And these are all EVs with the adamant nature, because he tends to be able to knock out Heatrans, Rillabooms. And if he had Throat Chop, he'd be able to knock out like a lot of Psychic Pokemon and Grass Pokemon, or not Grass, but Ghost Pokemon without fail. But I think having priority moves is probably like the best one to have for him. And then we have him with the Life Orb, so he does even a little bit more damage on top of it, even though it takes a little bit, but it's better than putting on a band to where he doesn't really get to do anything else. We have him with Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, Protect, and Sacred Sword to deal with kind of like the heavier Pokemon until they Terra into something that I can't really deal with a lot. But even then, I do have Pokemon that can deal with it pretty consistently. We have Urshifu here, who is the Mystic Water set from last season. So we've got 4 in HP, 252 in speed and attack with the Jolly nature. We wanted to be as fast as possible without using Scarf, because we do use Tailwind, so we don't have to worry about it. Terra Water is his game so that we can get a 2x boost to his attack. So that water attack, instead of it being 25, it becomes, I think, 50. And that hits for like a lot of damage, especially with the Mystic Water being on top of that. So imagine if you had to put this into perspective math, you're hitting for almost 60 damage with that one attack. And it might be 60 just 3 times, and it does a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. We currently have them with Surging Strikes, Protect, Close Combat, and U-Turn. It was Sword Stance, but I recently changed it because I didn't have anyone at the time that could redirect attacks. We'll get into the person that can on this team, but at the time I didn't have one, so I'm keeping them with U-Turn just to kind of give it a try and maybe give me some switch out options. Golden Go, who hasn't made any significant changes to the team. We are remove him up 1. There we go. We have his HP at 252, his defense at 36, special attack at 52, his special defense at 92, and his speed at 76. It's set this way because he gets to live a little bit more attacks, and with him being modest, he gets a boost in special attack but minus regular attack, but it doesn't really make any physical attacks either. So with that being said, his stat ranges are pretty good. We have him with Leftovers, and his ability is good as gold. He can't be hit with like status effects. He can if they're secondary for like attacks, but he can't be spored, he can't be leered, he can't be taunted, he can't be anything, because his ability says I can't be hit with anything. So it's really, really interesting. We have Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot, and Protect, so that he can be able to get in and out of battle pretty evenly. And last season he was huge asset to a few of her fights, and he's one of the slowest Pokemon that we have in our team. It's currently set to Dragon, and that is because that is the Terra type that's mostly preferred on him. If I was going to go full attack, it would be Terra Steel, but I'm not doing attack. I'm doing defensive, and I want to stick with that. The other thing is that Golden Go has a long list of resistances as well as unaffected, and he's only got 2 neutrals out of the entire type list and 4 weaknesses, which is really insane. For his weaknesses, he's 2 times fire, ground, ghost, and dark. He's immune to normal, fighting, and poison. Awesome. He's neutral to water and electric, and he's resistant to grass, ice, flying, psychic, rock, dragon, steel, and fairy. And then it says 1/4 here for bug. I'm not really sure if it's not effective or what have you, but it's like not even half resisted. It's like fully resisted. It's weird, but he's the only Pokemon type that I've seen that has more resistances on his thing than weaknesses. Even dark types like Chien Pao and Roaring Moon have quite a bit of weaknesses because of that dark typing, but at the same time, this dude is like incredibly strong and is able to live like a lot of attacks. We've seen it happen during the season where he lived against the Fluttermane. He's also lived against his own like make it rain sets and stuff like that. It's pretty dope. Next up, we've got Ogerpon. Oopsie. And Ogerpon had a huge makeover. I didn't like his set for some reason. I had him living with attacks, but there was no way for me to get HP back. And if he was living attacks, then I need to make it so that he could be able to like maybe either survive a little bit more or maybe just redirect the moves. So like Urshifu here having Sword Stance would have been like really unique if I had someone to redirect the attacks, but I didn't have Follow Me on. So now the set for Ogerpon is 24 HP, 252 in attack, 168 in defense, and 68 in defense. We set his nature to Brave. Brave is something that's very interesting, and I'm willing to give it a try this season. He will still outspeed the majority of the Pokemon that use Scarf once Tailwind is up, so that's no problem. But we have set to Brave so that we have another Pokemon that will be able to withstand Trick Room. Golden Go at level 50 has 114 speed, and Ogerpon has 117 speed. And we were able to see that proactive in the battles, where I was able to maybe attack earlier than my opponents were, even under Trick Room, which is why I have 2 Pokemon that are specifically for that instead of having 3 Pokemon that are potentially fast and then 3 Pokemon that are even faster than that. So with this set, we have Ivy Cudgel, Follow Me, Spiky Shield, and Woodhammer. Woodhammer is to be able to knock out Gastrodon if he comes out. Gyarados if he comes out. Well, I think Gyarados, he might be exempt of that because he's part flying. But he also knocks out Urshifu with 1 hit with Woodhammer. And he also puts a lot of pressure on Rillaboom with Ivy Cudgel. And he also puts a lot of pressure on Chien Pao with Ivy Cudgel. And with his Spiky Shield, he's going to be able to negate attacks and withstand a lot of attacks just because of the fact that Urshifu is all over the place. Now, Rapid Strike Urshifu being all over the place still makes it so that Ogerpon is in range to get knocked out. But I am likely to live depending on the build. And I'm going to put an asterisk there. It's only because like if they do full attack build, he doesn't live. But if they put more emphasis in bulk, he does live and will automatically knock out the Urshifu. It's pretty neat with how much of that they'd have to invest just to survive Ogerpon's attack. Last but not least, we have Roaring Moon, who is heavily inspired with the acrobatic set. My EV set's 112 for HP, 252 in attack, and 144 in speed. Now, the reason why I do this and have the booster energy on is to give him that nasty +1, which gives him around 210. I say around 210 because it's a 30% boost and not like a 50 or something like that. But at 191 times 1.3, you kind of get that that range there. And breaking swipes are going to minus people's attacks, so I can do that on Landorus or maybe even Iron Hands and like Rillabooms out there. Even like Dragonites are not going to be able to do a whole lot to that set. Throat Chop at +1 can knock out most psychic type defenders that we have currently in the meta, including but not limited to like Indeedee, Cresselia, Armarouge, like some of those players like get really messed up really bad. And I wanted someone that can negate the abilities of wheezing, because I'm assuming that he's going to show up a lot in the Portland regional, because one, I have a friend named Tyler that's using him, so obviously I'm gonna have to have him if I play Tyler. And I taught him Zen Headbutt, which at +1 knocks out most, if not all, wheezings, depending on how they're built. So that's the reason why I have that. And you can go in with like a ground type, because Maroon Moon does learn Stomping Tantrum. But while doing the calcs for that, I found that I had a harder time trying to knock out wheezing because of neutralizing gas, but I needed to have the booster energy out there to be able to accommodate that. And even then, if I still don't knock him out, or like Landorus comes out and negates like the +1 or gives him a -1 or whatever, I still have ample chances of making plays with Roaring Moon. Now he's set to Terra Flying, and that is just so that I can fake out most of my opponents online. When it's open team sheet, it's not going to really fake anybody. But if I can do like Terra Flying and then like break swipe to like lower down their attacks even further, or like protect or anything like that, it would be great. Acrobatics may have a line in here somewhat, but I just didn't know what Terra type to put him to, because I didn't really know what else to add, or like to add to it. I can make it dark and just make him a pure dark Pokemon, which then would make Throat Chop do even more damage, or even Terra Dragon to make Breaking Swipe just even more powerful on top of his massive possible 210 attack. So just dealing with that Pokemon at all is kind of really difficult to someone's team if they're not looking out for it. Now I do have my boxes, and I'll be doing this from here on out to facilitate like changes, because we'll be playing this team heavily during this ladder. I'll be playing like a ton of games. I won't name off a specific number, just because again I'm still sick, so I'm trying to get better and not be so tired all the time. But I'm gonna have like intimidators that I'm gonna have that are trained and ready to go. These are like situational players. So we have a Mungus with like Spore and like Rage Powder. We have Gastrodon who has Storm Drain. Other people use Yawn. I like using Recover, but Yawn is probably better. Entity, who turns off Priority and also sets up Trick Room, but Priority is what people use Entity for. And they have Talonflame, and I use mine for Taunt and Tailwind. So these four are specifically situationals. And then I have my Assaults sets here. So like Dragonite, Great Tusk, Rotom, and Dragapult are all set up with like their choice item to just apply pressure and keep applying pressure no matter what it is. And no one can really break that core unless they kind of get lucky. I have my Pranksters, which I'm missing one or two of them because they're not currently here at the moment. I have my Trick Room setters, and these usually are the people that set up for Trick Room. Even Cresselia, who usually is like a situational person with like Ally Switch and Lunar Blessing, but they also use Trick Room, and because they use Trick Room, they're usually set in this category. And I also have the Sun setters, so the people that take advantage in Sun. So right now it's just Torkoal, but everyone else has Chlorophyll or Photosynthesis that takes care of that Sun. And again, like Great Tusk also takes advantage of that. Fluttermane, who isn't on these two pages, isn't like would take advantage of that boost as well, so it's not like anything bad. And I have two fake out users. Iron Hands is currently being built still, and Hariyama is right here with the Guts Flame Orb. Now I do have these Pokemon here that's still going through the filtration process of where they sit and stand, and then I've got these Pokemon that need new moves being trained to them. And then I have these Pokemon to EV train. And as you can see, Iron Hands is in here. Our Fluttermane from last season's in here. I didn't really like how the EVs turned out. Arcanine from 2 seasons ago is in here. Sinistra is also in here and is getting like a makeover to possibly maybe using Assault Vest instead. So that's going to be really, really fun and see what we could do. So we've got Pokemon in here. You can see we've got Salamence with Intimidate in here. And then we got Armor Tail, Farigiraf. So we've got options. We just need to know, or I just need to know how to build them so that I can move them forward and go from there. So in a nutshell, this is the season 13 team that will be heavily playing this season and hopefully doing really well in the rank ladder so that we can bring them in for the Portland Regional. And with that being said, I'm all done. This video took a little bit longer to make than it should have, and I am already exhausted and I'm really tired. So leave a like. Every like that you guys leave will help me feel better. I shouldn't say that. But definitely do leave a like if you liked the video. Dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe if you're a brand new viewer, if you just like watching Pokemon battles. I do post Pokemon content and other content as well. It's just right now it is heavily Pokemon focused, and hopefully it'll stay that way for quite a while. And I do upload quite often. I know November was kind of iffy, but I do plan on uploading at least 5 days a week and keeping you guys updated on how the team is going for our battles. Usually I have a cap of like 100 fights, but sometimes I can't make it. And then sometimes I just go overboard and have more than 100 fights. But that's the general idea. We upload 5 days a week with fights so that you guys could have something to watch. And if you're just like to help support the channel, again, just leaving a subscribe. That would be really helpful. It is free. Man, the voice cracks. Oh man, the voice cracks. It's completely free and it does help out the channel, the videos, and it does help with the algorithm and all that stuff. And you guys can always leave a comment down below, and I do reply to any and all comments that you guys leave behind. And if you do that, or if you guys don't want to do that and want to talk to me off platform, I do have an X account, which is Twitter, down below, as well as a Discord that you guys can sign up. More to come, but right now I'm gonna get this edited out and I'm gonna go to bed. I'm officially set and ready to go for season 13, guys, and I can't wait. Till next time, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.